Sambrantanakramakaro Vayagirnagosha Sindhu Sirasyalanam Parigriya Rupi Padaravindam Upagamya Babasharetat
Yadrosha Vibrama Vivrita Katakshapata
Yadrosha Vibrama Vivrita Katakshapata
Sambrantanakramakaro Vayagirnagosha
Sambrantanakramakaro Vayagirnagosha
Sindhu Shirasyaranam Parigriya Rupi
Sindhu Sirasyaranam Parigriya Rupi
Padaravindam Upagamya Babasharetat
Padaravindam Upagamya Babasharetat
Yadrosha Vibrama Vivrita Katakshapata
Yadrosha Vibrama Vivrita Katakshapata
Sambrantanakramakaro Vayagirnagosha
Sambrantanakramakaro Vayagirnagosha Sindhu Sirasyaranam Parigriya Rupi
Padaravindam Upagamya Babasharetat
Padaravindam Upagamya Babasharetat
Yadrosha, whose anger, Vibrama, induced by, Vivrita, turned,
Katakshapata
by the glance,
Sambranta
agitated. You can leave that too. Nakra, crocodiles, Makaraha, and sharks, Hayakir Nagoshaha, whose loud sound was silence through fear. Sindhu, the ocean, Shirasi, on his head, Arhanam, all paraphernalia, for worshipping the Lord, Parigriya, carrying, Rupi, taking form, Padavindam, the lotus feet of the Lord, Upagamya, reaching, Babasha, said, Etat, the following. After reaching the beach, Lord Ramchandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of the ocean personified. When the ocean did not come, the Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger, and simply by his glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including the crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. Then the personified ocean fearfully approached Lord Ramchandra, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows. Natrambayam jaltiyo napitam aphuman Kutas tamadi purusham jagatam ahisham Yat satvata suragana radasa prajesha Manyos chaputa patriya sabhavan punesha. O all-pervading Supreme Person, we are dull-minded and did not understand who you are. But now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original personality of Godhead, the The demigods are infatuated with the mode of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the lords of ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all these qualities. Purport. The word Jayadvaita refers to intelligence like that of an animal. A person with such intelligence cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without being beaten, an animal cannot understand the purpose of a man. Similarly, those who are dull-minded cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when punished severely by the modes of material nature, they begin to understand. A Hindi poet has said, Dukme hari bhaje, sukme bhajana koi, sukme jo hari bhaje, duk kohe ko hoy. When one is distressed, he goes to the church or temple to worship the Lord. But when opulent, he forgets the Lord. Therefore, punishment by the Lord through material nature is necessary in human society. For without it, men forget the supremacy of the Lord due to their blunt, dull intelligence. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Meditam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Tapitam Kena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamahyam Tadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahadana Raghunathan Tam Savivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sehitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurami Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Pokatalupyascha Kripa Sindho Devascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Natvam Vayam Jadadiyo Nagatam Kuman Kutastam Adi Purusham Jagatam Isham Yat Satvata Suratanam Rajasa Pradesha Manyosta Bhuta Pataya Savavan Gunesha. Lord Ramchandra needed to cross the ocean, and so he approached the beach, but the ocean was not helping. He was waiting for the ocean personified to come and assist him. the ocean didn't come. But so Lord Ramchandra became angry, and just by his glance it seemed like the ocean was going to boil, and all the creatures within it were going to be killed. So everyone was in fear. Then the ocean approached. That means fear is also sometimes useful. Punishment is also sometimes useful. We like to have everything be accomplished through mild and gentle means. You're a good boy, won't you do this? But it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you have to threaten the child. You don't behave, you're going to be banished to Siberia, whatever it is. You'll have your Xbox taken away, whatever the threat is. Whatever the threat is. So that, of course, that's not used, what's the word, as the first line of approach, but nor did Lord Ramchandra at first. He was just waiting, okay, ocean, if you're, please show up. But when the ocean failed or refused, then Lord Ramchandra became angry. Okay, now you're going to get it. So then the ocean became very submissive. Natvam vayam jadatiyo nabidamapum. O Puman, O powerful Lord, we didn't know who you are. Why not jadatiyo? Jadati means our minds are dull. Our minds are dull. This is the position of the conditioned soul. Dull-minded, thick-headed, slow. Jadatiyo. Kutastam. Now we know who you are. Kutastam. Adi Purusham. Jagatam. Adhisham. You're the supreme controller of the whole universe. And you're the original person. And Kutastam. You're situated transcendentally, within the core of the heart. Kutastam. Yat Sattva Sudagana Gadasa Prajesha. The demigods are influenced by the mode of goodness, and the Prajapatis, the progenitors, are influenced by passion. Without passion, there's no progeny. So the Prajapatis are influenced by passion. The demigods are influenced by goodness. And Bhutapatiya, Manyo. Here Manyo means by ignorance. The Bhutapatis, the lords of the ghosts, are influenced by ignorance. There are ghostly creatures in this world also. That's a fact. Science may not acknowledge the existence of ghosts, but some of Srimad Bhagavatam is always ahead. What may be discovered or acknowledged later by modern science is already routinely referred to in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are ghostly creatures. I could tell some ghost stories, but not necessary. Probably you have your own experience, or will sometime in the course of your life. There's weird things going on in this world, sometimes caused by the ghosts. Now I can tell this one. You're all convinced. convinced that there's ghosts, right? Okay. So the story is unnecessary.
No, we are not.
Now you want a story, right? I'm not seated here to tell ghost stories. I'm supposed to tell ghost stories are very much. These three modes of nature are there, controlling the various classes of living entities. But the Lord is Adhisha, Jagatana. He's the controller of everything. He's the controller of those in ignorance, controller of those in passion, controller of those in goodness. And he's transcendental. Prakritim Purusha. He's Adi Purusham. This is Lord Ramchandra. We thought we were a great Kshatriya, a great warrior, but still a human being. When Krishna appears, sometimes, what is that? Mudhoyam Nabijanati, fools don't realize. Manasham Tanamashut, because he appears like a human being. Paramabhavajanata. People don't recognize his transcendental nature. Paramabhavamajanato, Lokamaheshwara, Paramabhavamajanato. Tell me. Paramabhavamajanato. Right, the book's not here today. Oh yes, it is. That white bag here. Manobhutaneshwara. This, by the way, is a magic book. You know, if I just touch that. In fact, I didn't even touch it. It's not even in the bag, but just the thought of it being here somehow or other has provides the missing words. Happens a lot. Manobhutaneshwara. Moghasha Moghakama. They bewildered. They don't realize that Krishna is not a human being. Just because he looks like a human being, it doesn't make him a human being. He has extraordinary powers. He has extraordinary opulences. He existed before the creation. He's not. Many people ask questions. Well, Ramchandra appeared first, and Krishna appeared later. Therefore, blah blah blah. But no, they're all eternal. Adimananta Rupa, the beginning of the today is not a good day for the verses. But all of the unlimited forms of the personality of Godhead are anadi. They have no origin. Everything in the material world has an origin. But on the spiritual platform, Krishna is anadi, beginningless, ever existing. So that personality of Godhead, the ocean could understand. When punished, or when threatened with punishment, then the ocean wised up, as they say, and could see, yes, he's the personality of Godhead. And please forgive me, I was dull-headed. I should have known who you are. So this hardship in the material world can be helpful for us. The people ask, if there's God, then why is there suffering in this world? It's proof to them that there's no God. Because if God existed he would make everything the way they would like it to be. That would be proof of God. No one that I love would die. Money would never leave my hands. Everything would be hunky-dory, as they say. That is to say, lovely. Everything would always be lovely if there were God. But since everything's not lovely, there's no God. That's their notion. But God is not meant to be our order supplier. An intelligent person, when there's difficulty, then he understands that there's power greater than I. And I should be submissive. I have to submit to that higher power. But the problem is, duk me hari bhaje, sukh me bhaje na koi. When there's misery, then people go to God. They go to the temple, they go to the church. Oh God, there's a pandemic, I've lost my money, I'm facing legal charges, this, that. Oh God, oh God, oh God, please help me. But sukne bhajanakoi, when things are going nicely, no one worships God. He's not necessary, everything's fine. Sukne jo hari bhaje duk kahe ko hoy. So if someone worships Krishna when things are going nicely, that's very good. How does Prabhupada translate that? It doesn't literally. If someone actually worships Krishna when things are going well, then that person is in better situation. Duk me hari bhaje, duk me bhajana koi, sukh me jo hari bhaje, duk kai ko hoy. All right, let's see if there's some questions or comments or criticisms. Yes.
It's regarding the song. You say that
Regarding
the song of
the Hindi poet.
Yes. You see that when we sing the song of Hari, there's no trouble, no problem, no duk. But duk is still coming. There's still duk. Even we song the name of Hari, the duk is still appearing sometime, coming always.
Yes. It's not that you're singing and still there's duk.
Yes.
It's not. Of course, if someone actually chants Hare Krishna, he becomes free from miseries because he knows that what does this misery have to do with me? I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. This misery belongs to the dream of Maya. So he actually becomes free from misery. Not that nothing will happen to his body, nothing will, he becomes some sort of Superman, nothing touches him. That's not guaranteed anywhere. If he becomes Krishna conscious, he's not affected. He remains the same in happiness or distress. Prabhupada, people always ask Prabhupada the most intelligent questions. So someone asked Prabhupada why you shave your head. Not someone, everyone. They didn't want to know anything profound. They wanted to know why you shave your head. So one time Prabhupada said, so that when someone hits you on the hair, you won't feel it. That is to say, if you've shaved off your hair and someone hits you on the hair, you won't feel it. So when we give up the conception that the body is the self, then even, what is that? Guru Napi Vichalyate, in the 6th chapter. Somehow we didn't bring my little red book today. I think we didn't. But the Tam Vidya Dukasang Yoga Viyoga Yoga Samhita. But the previous was, anyway, the meaning is that Yam Labdva Chapra Madhu Manyate Nadikam Tata Yasmin Tato Nadukena Guruna Vidichalite. When one is situated, this is 6th chapter, when one is situated on the transcendental platform, the platform of spiritual ecstasy, then Tam Vidya Dukasam Yoga, Yam Lavra Chapram Lava Manyate Yasmin Tato Dukena Guruna Vichalite. He's not affected even by the heaviest miseries. Guru means heavy. Tam Vidya Dukasam Yoga Yoga Yoga. Is that okay? Something? Yes?
I don't know, I don't have something easily related. Yesterday, the class compared the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra like a baby elephant.
Yes.
Elephant. Can you tell something?
Why
Because
baby elephant? Why are Lord Ramchandras compared to a baby elephant? You've probably never seen a really done up baby elephant. But first of all, baby elephants are charming. The big elephant, that's another story. But baby, just like here, if there's like a young deer or a young child, they're especially charming. The old deer is also interesting, but a young deer frolicking about is especially attractive and charming. So the baby elephant, the old elephant is a little scary, you know, he's big, he's heavy, but the baby elephant is more fun, more attractive, more, what's the word? Attractive. And when the baby elephant is decorated, because in India, when they take the elephants on procession, they're sometimes very gorgeously decorated. So the baby elephant looks particularly attractive, all done up, all decorated. So Lord Ramchandra, similarly, he was all decorated, attractive, beautiful features, and powerful also. Even the baby elephant is, you don't want to get in the way of its trunk. So Lord Ramchandra is compared to baby elephant. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
When the Lord gets angry to make the ocean come, is he actually angry?
Yes, he's angry.
Does he manifest?
It's not of course, he can also make a show of anger, just like Krishna. He was hungry and his mother wasn't supplying butter, so he feigned anger, he made a show of anger. So Krishna can do that also. But he can also just become angry. When Kamsa was speaking his nonsense at the wrestling arena, kill Vasudev, kill Ugrasena, they've all been plotting against me, kill them all. Krishna just became angry. It wasn't a show. You nonsense rascal. When Lord Krishna appeared as Nrsimhadev, he was angry. This rogue has tortured this innocent devotee, child, his own son. He was so angry, no one could pacify him. Not Brahma, not the demigods, not Lakshmi, no one. He was genuinely angry. So, Janmadhyasya, Krishna is the origin of everything. So, why do we get angry? Because anger is there in Krishna, original. One of my godbrothers, Rupanuga, asked if there was some hint, because Prabhupada said that sometimes if you feel lusty desires, you can think of the gopis and Krishna, because they are the, even if you think Krishna is lusty, he's unlimitedly lusty. So it's transcendental, the mind becomes purified. So sometimes if there's some onset of lusty desire, one can remember Krishna and gopis. So Rupanuga Prabhu asked if there was some similar hint about anger. Prabhupada said, yes, you remember Lord Nrsimhadev. You're only a little bit angry. He's unlimitedly angry. Genuine anger. Everything is there in Krishna. Love is there, anger is there. All the full set of transcendental emotions. Fear. He's afraid of Yashodhamati. She can hit me with a stick. So everything is there originally in Krishna, in its pure form. Something else? Yes, Gopaswami.
Is punishment still useful today? Is punishment?
Yes.
Is it still useful today? Because it seems that when it seems to be the only way to correct somebody, it seems not very efficient.
It seems that punishment is not very efficient. No, punishment can be very efficient. It's usually, being nice that's not so efficient. You say, no, don't steal again. Oh no, I promise, I'll never steal again. And the next day he's out on the street robbing a grocery store. Your Honor, I'll never steal. But when you threaten him, serious punishment, then it's a different story. Punishment is very effective. Just the opposite. We make it now that punishment doesn't work, so we have to do something more gentle, more humane, more understanding, more sympathetic, more call in the psychologists and help this person. Not punishment. No punishment works. The Prabhupada cited that in, maybe it was Jaipur state, back in the old days, the thief would be punished for having his hands cut off. So there was no theft in Jaipur state. People don't want to lose their hands. There was a similar story from Saudi Arabia. The king was quite strict, and there was some traveler. He was traveling through the desert, and then he came to the court. But along the way, he saw some bags lying by the side of the path. And what are these bags? Big bags. So he tested it with his toe, and he saw that they were coffee beans. So then he came to the court and he reported that these bags of coffee beans are lying there. King said, how did you know they were coffee beans? He said, I tested them with my toe. King ordered that his toe should be cut off. It wasn't your property. Why were you messing? The word went out. People knew this king is so tough that we better be. Even Vaina Maharaj, he was despotic, but there was no crime. The criminals, the thieves, saw that Vaina was coming. They took off. He wasn't righteous, he wasn't Krishna conscious, but he was so mean that he would punish like anything. So the thieves said, this is not the kingdom where we want to be. And they left. Maharaj Parikshit, he threatened Kali. Kali was making a false show of being a king and beating a cat. At once, Parikshit Maharaj challenged him. You can't do this in my kingdom. This has never happened. It's not going to happen. You deserve to die. Please don't hurt me. Your Majesty. He became. So punishment, it's not that punishment it does. I've seen well, I can say anything. I hope I don't do well. Maybe better not say. Cause political trouble. There's one country I go to. They previously had a sort of oppressive regime, and then the repressive regime was replaced with a more democratic and egalitarian state. But it was so, they overcorrected because people had been so dealt with so harshly. The new government now was, they just didn't enforce that kind of, or any kind of, some kind of, but not much, heavy punishment. The result is that in that country now, no one is safe. Everyone's home is surrounded by barbed wire, walls, all kinds of protective stuff, dogs, panic buttons, armed response. And still, it's just rife with carjackings and home break-ins, murders, rapes. No one is safe there because the government is weak. As far as punishment goes, the government is weak. So people do these things, and there's no power to stop them. So even the previous government admittedly was oppressive, but there was safety and security. Of course, depends. If you were on the disfavored side, you weren't safe from the police. That's a different thing. But the general people in their homes and so on, they knew that we can, in the Middle East today, so the crime is very minimal. Because the law is strong. Where the law is strong, people may not like it, but there's safety, there's security, there's law and order. It works. Okay. Danda Damayatam means of ruling and punishment. In the 10th chapter. Danda Damayatam, of all means of suppressing lawlessness and punishment. Not sweet words.
So interesting to talk about punishment. So how to understand that God's love is also behind this. For example, I had very intense skin disease at some point, And it actually closed my heart. I had very intense and painful skin disease 1 year or 2 years ago. And at some point I just felt I must be not loved, there must be no God, why should I suffer like this? It went on for months.
Therefore, one has to get some understanding also. So some teaching.
Yes.
Otherwise, we know what's going on. So it may appear that no one loves me and nature is unfair, God is unfair. So therefore some philosophy is required. Just like the father, sometimes he punishes the child. My father sometimes would smack me. My father was quite a gentle person. But now and then, I would just be causing havoc, and my mother would say, just wait till your father comes home. And my father would sometimes, let me have it. But that wasn't because he hated me. It was love. That some punishment has to be there, otherwise what's going to happen to this kid? He's going to grow up to be a rogue. Probably you should have hit me a little more, I would have done better. But the punishment, how do you like this body? When there's skin disease, when there's this, that we learn something.
Yeah, for sure.
We learn something. If everything just goes nice, we think, oh, I can enjoy forever. But when there's misery thrown in, or thrown at us, then it's coming. In Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, better the house of mourning than the house of feasting. For the living will take it to heart. And death is the ultimate punishment. Capital punishment. So the house of mourning is for the philosophers. There's a commentator says that even when the wise man is not in the house of mourning, the house of mourning is always within him. And that's the philosopher. In the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, a person in knowledge should always be aware of these four miseries: birth, death, old age, and disease. If you just want to enjoy, you should never think about these things. But if you want to be wise, then you should always keep these in mind. Was there a hand over on this side?
How devotees had to punish each other properly.
How do devotees
Has to punish each other properly and
have to do what to each other properly?
Punish.
Punish. Well, Prabhupada, if someone, what was it? He said if someone doesn't attend Mangalarti, the punishment should be that he has to sell one Krishna book. The Srila Prabhupada there was some disturbance caused by, I think, Tamal Krishna Goswami's traveling parties. And everyone was complaining that these parties are coming to our temples, stealing all our men, and then they run off and to the next temple, steal all those men. And they badmouth the management, and then they steal the men, and then they're ruining everything. So Prabhupada Tamal Krishna Goswami from the party and sent him to China. In fact, Prabhupada was talking about, what a disturbance the party had created. And then Tamal Krishna said, what am I supposed to do, go to China? And the next day Prabhupada said, yes, you should go to China. So it appeared to be punishment. But actually, it was glorious that Tamal Krishna Goswami became the pioneer for spreading Krishna consciousness in China. A very difficult field. So even when the devotee is punished, he's glorified. Narad Muni punished Nalakubar and Manigriva. You'll become trees. You're so shameless that you're wandering about naked with young girls. It's better that you become trees. Stand naked for decades. But they became trees in the house in the courtyard of Nanda. And Krishna, that was also Narad's word, that Krishna will free. So, on the transcendental platform, even so-called punishment becomes a benediction. But we should be careful not to think that our job is to punish all the other devotees. All right. Should we stop here? Time says yes. All right. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Krishna